Hello everyone, welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. I'm Laura Rogers and this is Joelle Jobson here in the little window. And this is a show we've been doing for about 7 years, and Power Hour is all about what you can do in SharePoint, Microsoft 365 without having to do any kind of hardcore development or programming or hardcore administration. We kind of dip our toes a little bit into some of those things, but usually it's pretty easy, like business user type things that we talk about. And the fun thing about Power Hour is that we have a live chat going on. So we use Microsoft Teams. We've used various platforms over the years, and the one that, of course, these are Microsoft technologies we're talking about, and half the demos we do are usually in Microsoft Teams. So we use Microsoft Teams for our chat, and we have a form to fill out to join for the first time. So there's a link below wherever you're watching this video to fill out the form. It's a manual process. I have to manually invite you into Microsoft Teams, but there's a box in the form you fill out to let me know your pretty much your Microsoft 365 email address. And then we invite you, and then I'll show you real quick. I'll show you when I get to start sharing my screen how to get into that tenant to chat, and kind of how to get to the Power Hour chat and the easiest way to do that. But that's the fun about it. We have a live discussion. We have questions and comments, and just we all get to know each other, and it's a good time. Okay, so today's topic is the quick links web part in SharePoint, and there are a lot of different ways you can make it look, a lot of different things you can do with it, mostly having to do with just different configurations and layouts and just visually how it looks. It's pretty simple. It's a web part that lets you create hyperlinks to different things and display that web part anywhere on any SharePoint page. So let's go ahead and dive right into, let's see, I'll share my screen here. Okay, and that's the admin center, but let me go ahead and go over to just a SharePoint page here. Now, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few examples of different ways that the quick links web part can work. And it can look so different that you'll be looking at a quick links web part and not even realize that that's what it is. So there are just a lot of different examples of what you can do with it. So I'm just going to show you a few, and we've talked about a few. We had a whole Power Hour about the highlighted content web part. We talked about that, and we talked a little bit about quick links in that one. We did this demo in the last Power Hour about the new hybrid work template, and there are a lot of quick links web parts in there. So here we'll kind of scroll through this example. This is one of the templates, the Contoso benefits that you can get in the lookbook that we've talked about before in other Power Hours. This particular version of Contoso benefits is something that, instead of just installing it directly from the lookbook, we went through the process of actually just step by step creating it from scratch, so that and just built it out ourselves, so that you can show that, you know, these are all just out of the box. They can be built by anyone editing a page. So there's nothing magical about it. So top tasks, let me go ahead and refresh this. Top tasks and how it works are quick links web parts. And let's go ahead and edit the page. And when you edit the page, you can easily see what the quick links web parts are. Sometimes if you've actually typed a different title in the web part settings, it will just say whatever title you typed. But by default, I just deleted that title. But by default, all the quick links web parts will just say quick links at the top. So in this one, it makes it look like these are little links, but they're really just text with little arrow, little like greater than signs after them. And then this one is just pretty plain text. Those are pretty boring. This is a quick links web part of images. And so those are the ones on that page. And then on the hybrid work home, this is the one we demoed last week. I'll go ahead and edit this one. And this is really cool. Look at what they did here. They made this first web part, this section on the page, dark blue, and then they added another section on the page and made it the same color blue, and then added a quick links web part. So when you're looking at the page, these little links up at the top look like they're just part of this big blue banner. So this is a quick links web part. And this over here, that's one too. And let's see what else. A lot of these are text web parts. And then here's another quick links web part with some cute little people icons. And then this one has got little icons, and so it's got text and descriptions showing on it. And that's about it. So, and Joelle, let me know if you have any, this is our demo tenant that we use. If you have any particular pages in here that you've created that have cute little, for demos and things that have quick links web parts, just shoot me the hyperlink and I can go flip over to those too and just kind of show just other examples of what they look like. But I want to show you, now that I've shown you just a few examples of what they can look like, what we're going to do is just start from the beginning, just on a blank page, and just new blank website, web page with nothing on the home page, and just add a quick links web part. And that way we'll be able to see just everything that I'm doing and all the different settings and things like that. So I'm going to actually add, so this section on this page has kind of two columns. I'm going to actually add a new section that's just got one column. So then when I add a web part, it'll just go across. So the quickest way is to you can just type start typing quick links in this little search box to search for a web part, and that will show right there. So now I have a quick links web part on my page. The quick links web part is not dynamic. So that's an important thing to know, right? So it is only going to have hard-coded hyperlinks that you put in here, hyperlinks to very specific things. There are a lot of other types of web parts in SharePoint that are dynamic, like the highlighted content web part. The events will roll up things, and there are other, like the document library web part will actually show you documents that are in a library, and the documents names change and things are updated as people work on those documents. If they happen to change a document name, you would just see the new document name. Nothing in the quick links web part is going to be dynamic. So you're going to use this for cases where you just have something very specific, like maybe links to outside websites. And Joelle, help me kind of think of some examples where you've used this. I know a lot of corporations have like sort of standards to where they use this. So you have like outside websites, specific pages maybe you can go to, even specific documents, but I don't know how often people do that. What do you think?
Yeah, on internet it's actually really popular because they don't want to show the document library on an internet page.
So people will put documents. I'm sorry, what was that?
The link to specific documents.
Oh, the link to specific documents. Are there any...
Or folders.
Oh, folders. Yeah, okay. Are there any sort of definitely do's and don'ts? Like definitely is a bad idea to use any particular kind of thing in a quick links web part? Anybody in the chat window?
I think, in my opinion, I would say to use, if you're adding a document there, definitely use a description to give some context, because if they click on it and it opens the document up right in the browser and the document itself maybe doesn't have a lot of information, maybe it's like an Excel spreadsheet or something, it might be good to just make sure that you are giving some kind of context to that document before, whether it's in like a little description in the quick link or just on the page. Mm-hmm. That would be one thing. And then also just to use the selector, like when you add links, like to use that to get to the document, and don't like add just a link to the document.
Oh, don't paste
using
the link
the add
in there.
link,
Okay.
Right, to a document specifically.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, like a website or something, then yeah. But so like to use the add link where you navigate to the file, like use that, because you're gonna get like that link that works forever kind of thing.
Oh, good.
So
if somebody changes the file name or something later, it'll be fine.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then we have a couple of people making commentary about, some people agree about the document library web part being ugly, and people, liking that concept of just having, if you have specific files you want them to be able to open, just go ahead and set
Yeah.
that. So real quick, if you are new and you haven't ever chatted in here before, when you go, you'll get invited to Microsoft Teams. You'll see the name of your tenant up at the top. And you'll actually see your name, and you might see the name of your tenant next to it. But when you click your name, you'll have this new thing called accounts and orgs. Accounts and orgs is now the way that you switch to another organization. I'm not going to click this because I've got like customers potentially and different things in there. See, no, I don't have any. But when you go to accounts and orgs, that's where now that you're going to see Power Hour. So that's how you switch over to our tenant. And then here is the Power Hour team that you can see. Let me stretch this out a little bit. Over here, Power Hour team, general channel, and then I add a tab in the channel each time we hold a Power Hour. So you go to the Power Hour tab, and then once you go to the Power Hour tab, then you can click the little conversation button up here. And that's the cool sort of contextual chat that you have in Microsoft Teams. So this is where you can watch the video and do the chat at the same time. So that's what we're all doing while we're talking about this. So, Paula says links to various forms throughout the company, links to different libraries. Vanessa agrees about the pasting of the link being a bad idea. Okay, great. So now that we've kind of established reasons to use the quick links web part, let's go ahead and add an individual link. So the first, you don't have any links in it. When you first add it, the first thing it prompts you with is the ability to add links. So the first thing you see when you're prompted to add a link is just the pages, some recent things you've been doing in that site. So here I have the pages, and I also have, now this is not the image that I want showing in the web part that I'm picking right now. This is when someone clicks on that button in the quick links web part, where am I taking them? So you could very well just have a hyperlink like this. So I can just do HTTPS. So there's our website. So I went ahead and it says, this is outside of your organization. Make sure people have access to it. So then I went ahead and just added a hyperlink to our website. And then I can just click add links to add the next one. So there are a lot of different things that you can pick from here. A lot of it's a little confusing the way it has the images and your organization images and things like that here, because the thing I'm picking right now is not an image. So that might be a little confusing. Also, if you go to your OneDrive and put a link to something in there, that's also confusing because the people going to this SharePoint page might not have access to your OneDrive, right? So kind of keep that in mind. That's a weird place to see that to me. That's not, that could be misleading. And then this is where you can navigate to this site, the site that you're in. And this is how you can go down, drill down and go pick a specific document. And then another thing that you can do when you're adding a link, notice it was a document, it put a little word icon on it automatically, is you can just upload something. But again, that's kind of odd, because then if you picked an image here, or if you uploaded an image, then you would be linking to the image, and when people click on it, they'd be going to that image. So that's kind of weird. Don't you think that's a little odd, Joelle, that and misleading? I don't know. So the thing about this screen that we're seeing here is this is just the standard screen for adding links and images and things like that. No matter what you're adding, this is just the standard screen you get in SharePoint. So that makes sense as to why they have kind of all these other things in here. But just keep in mind that this first thing you're doing, adding a link, you're just adding a hyperlink. So now I'm going to click, I can just pick one page in my site and link to that. Another thing you can do is if you have a bunch of pages or documents that you want to link to, you can select multiple ones. So I can go like this and select 4 things and insert those. I can also do multiple documents. So if I go to this site and I go to project files, let's see if I have any. I only have one document in there. Let me try that again. I'll just go to documents, and I have a bunch of folders in here, but you can see that I can pick 3 things, and I could also pick a folder though, right, Joelle? So I can pick 3 documents, and then I can also pick, I'll go site again, documents, and then I just want to have a link to Contoso, just the Contoso folder of whatever files are in there. So as you can see now, I've added a lot of different links to just various things, an external website, internal things, documents, folder, files, pages, things like that. So it can be a link to absolutely anything. It could be a news article on the internet, anything like that. Okay, so then once you've added all of your links, there are a couple of different types of configuration. There's individual link configuration, and then there's configuration for the way the whole web part is going to look, like the style of the web part. So the first thing we're going to look at is the individual link configuration, and then that kind of ties in a little bit to the style of the web part, and we'll look at kind of different options there. Another thing to keep in mind, and I come across this a lot when I'm building quick links web parts on my customers' pages, I'll be going from a list of links that I need, and I'll start with the first one and I'll add it. Have you ever had this happen, Joelle, where you start going down the list and adding them? It adds them backwards. So that's kind of like either you have to just add them all and let them go backwards, and then you drag them around. So you can just take this and drag it, and you can rearrange them like this. Or you can just start from the bottom and go up, and then they'd be in the right order. So yeah, just kind of something to keep in mind. So yeah, you can rearrange these by using the little double arrows to drag around what order they're in. But the web part is going to show in it. You're not setting the number of columns that you have here. The web part is going to show, it's going to expand to whatever columns you have this web part in. So if I take this whole web part and move it down here, see, now it's got 3 columns. So, and we'll delve a little bit into kind of the whole page ideas kind of a little bit later. Okay, so I'll go to one link and go to the pencil. So you have a couple of different little pencil icons to keep in mind. This pencil at the top left, when you have the web part selected, this one at the top left, that is the settings for the whole web part. Then each individual link, you have to click on it and then click the little pencil, and that is where you get to the settings for each individual link. So you can spend all day doing this, right, Joelle? You could, if you have a lot of links, you could spend all day like picking little icons for everything and changing trying all the little colors and different styles and things. So because there are 100 different ways it could look. Okay, so the first thing, the thumbnail is you can see that it's auto selected, this little thumbnail concept, because the ones that have documents, it automatically selected like a Word document icon. So that's the default for what the thumbnail looks like. So you can change what the link says. So like current open applications, I can just call it open applications. And so that's how you just change what the text says on it. And then the thumbnail is where you can change it to a custom image. So if I want to upload a specific image to represent, let's see, IW Mentor, look at that, I've already got one. So I've got an IW Mentor logo that I've happened to have already uploaded with all these pictures of weapons, random bows and arrows and things that are in this asset library. So I can take that IW Mentor logo. So now it's not, it looks like the image itself isn't exactly square, so it doesn't really look right. So whatever image you put in here, it's going to look different depending on which layout of the Quick Links web part that we pick. But square is really best, isn't it, Joelle? Does it really pretty much need to be square for all of them? I don't think any of the layouts for Quick Links do like expand out. Well, I guess we'll just see as we play around.
Yeah, like some of the image ones might not need to be square.
So if you want it to look square and small, the image itself that you put in here needs to already be square. You can't crop it once it's inside this web part. Okay, so then I can go to another one like this is Contoso, and I can pick another different custom image. I can also do alternate text if you want there to be alt text, and that's for accessibility issues. For people reading your website, you might have rules at your company where every image needs to have alt text, right? And then the icon is really fun. So the icon's my favorite. I don't know about you. But you have all these little built-in icons that you can pick from. So by default, you'll have this little globe icon. And let me see, look in the chat real quick. You used to be able to pick a certain rendition of an image. I think that was a different web part. Was it? That's what Paul was asking, Joelle.
Yeah, it's like the image web part.
Pamela's asking if it needs to be 60 by 60. I don't think that it needs to be a specific dimension. It just needs to be
that would probably
square.
help.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would help. I mean, if it's 2000 by 2000, it might render kind of slow. So yeah, it just needs to really be square. So you have all these little icons, and the icons actually have names. So if you know the name of your icon, you can search for. I'll just select that one and pick a bullseye, and then just go to the next one and do an icon. And I can do, so what if I need to have something that looks like a check mark or something? I can type check, and then look at all these cool little choices that I have here. So many icons. And then I'll pick for corporate fee schedule. I'm going to say like fee, it's money. So maybe I need to do like that, money. So you can see that you can have a lot of fun picking icons all day long and picking specific icons to whatever that thing is that you've just clicked on. Yeah. And then if you might want to make note of what some of those names of them are if you want to do this somewhere else. So that's another kind of a negative, isn't it, Joelle, that you can't just take this web part and save it and put it on another page. Yeah. So if there used to be in the really, really old days, in the classic, long time ago in the classic SharePoint, you used to be able to take a web part. There was a kind of a links, I don't remember what it was, something links web part. And you could save it, and you could export the web part, and you can go to another page and upload it. You can't do that with any of these modern ones. But one thing you do have the ability to do on these modern pages is save the whole page as a template. So if you have a standard set of links that you want to be able to have on a bunch of different pages, you could save that page as a template. I just recently did that for a customer where they had a long list of pages we're creating. It was about 8 or 10 things, and it looked ridiculous trying to put them up here in the navigation just on that page. All the names were very long, and they were just not going to fit. So I did a quick links web part, and I put it in a vertical, down the side of the page. And then I was able to take that first page I created and save it as a template, and then create all the other pages. Anyway, so just kind of keep that in mind, that that's something to think about ahead of time, that if you need to redo this or do it multiple times. Okay, I'll do just a couple more of these. That one is a map icon. Let's see if I have a map.
And mention promoted links.
Do what?
Promoted links. And mention promoted links.
Oh, yeah. Remember the promoted links? So this is kind of the same concept in that it is a hard-coded link, right? But at least you could put those on different pages, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. But promoted links, let's all remember how we used to have to add those links, though. And how
that was so painful.
Painful. That was. Like, they looked really cool. Don't get me wrong. They looked cool, and we were really excited when they came out. But, oh, my gosh, they were so painful to add. This is so much easier to add links now. Yeah,
and once you got the hang of it, you kind of knew where to go and everything. But for somebody that had never used a SharePoint page before, it was just, you had to have a PhD in SharePoint to go find that stuff.
You did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty intuitive, I feel like. It's very intuitive, and there are a lot of things you can do with it. but just slapping a quick links web part on a page, you don't realize the full potential of how cool you can make it look. So, okay, so I've added a bunch of icons on these, and those are some of the settings that you'll get. Now, another thing to note is that depending on which layout you have for the whole web part, you're going to have different settings. Ooh, that was thunder. Did you hear that? We've got a big storm. Another big storm. We got a flash flood warning right now. It's fun. So you're going to have different settings on here. So let's go ahead, and now that we've done some of the settings on each individual link, we'll go ahead and look at the settings for the whole web part. So compact is the default setting. Then you've got film strip, which this is going to be much more useful when you've got sort of more of those big custom images, because there's my big custom image. And so I can go to maybe one of, like this one is a news page that I pointed to. So since the link is to a news page on my site that has, this is the image, this little guy at a computer, that's the image that's associated with that news page. So it's kind of nice. The quick links web part just automatically puts the image from the news page as the image in this lovely little film strip. So like this one doesn't have one. And notice that these settings look a little different. So this custom image thing is even bigger. So I can say I want this to be a ghost trap. A ghost trap image. And then you still got alt text. So let's go to another setting. So again, one of the most confusing things is all the different little pencil icons and the different places you have to click. Let's go to the grid. And the grid is just very big. So a grid is going to be good for not necessarily these little icons, but if for more of those custom images. And let's go to a button. Okay, so the button is really my favorite. I use this, I think, the most. The button makes them look like little buttons, but when you show a button, you can also show descriptions too. And so there are several different things you can do. You can click to show descriptions. So if I turn on show descriptions, now when I go edit each individual link, I have a description. So this is about it. So now I've got Contoso is the name of my link, but now I've got a description. So like our website is IW Mentor, and see, as I type it under each one, it kind of centers it vertically. More about these and a lot of other stuff. See, I'm kind of like looking to see how long I can make this. See, it does kind of cut it off. So once you've turned on the ability to have descriptions, show descriptions with your button, then you'll be able to go back through each of these individual things and add a description. Some more settings that you have with a button. You're going to be able to, and let me know, I guess, Joelle, if people have any questions. There was probably a lot of comments about Ghostbusters. That's cute.
They asked, it says appears quick links title can't be changed. It can be changed.
Yeah, the title can be changed because that was the very first thing that I did before I started editing this page. So Laura's links. Yeah, you just change it, right? You just type it right on the page. It's so intuitive that it's hard to find because you don't realize that it's going to be that easy. So yeah, you just literally just type it right there on the page. And then you can change what each one of these says just by going to its properties. Okay, so let me go back to the pencil over here and go back to these button settings. So icons, you can say whether you want to have no icon or have them on the top or on the left. So notice it might make more sense if you have longer descriptions to put the icon on the top. That looks kind of interesting, right? Or icon on the left. You don't have icon on the right. And then the button appearance. Are you ready for this? Oh, look how cool. So
what's really cool too is if you change the color of your section, it automatically changes.
Oh, let's do that. So I'm gonna make this one description is making them all way too big, I think. Anyway. So notice that as soon as I changed the fill color, I turned on the fill color, it went to blue with white text. So now if I go and change the section background color to dark, look at that. Now it changes all the links to white and the text to blue. So it's just intuitive. It's just going to make it look correct for you. And I change it to light
that
blue.
goes off your
do what?
theme color. I was just gonna say that goes. A lot of people ask that about that color change, so it goes off your theme color of your site.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you can't just change that color.
That is true. You would have to
Out of
go
the box,
to
I should say.
your change the look and go to your. Oh, I actually have this. Let's see, this theme. Yeah, this theme is being inherited from I have a hub site, so it's been inherited on this page, or so it's set somewhere else. So I'm not going to delve into that right now. Okay, so that is the button. Let's see what else we have with a button. We have the fill color. We also have alignment. So we can say we want them all to align on the top or center. Title text, 1 line or 2 lines.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit.
Yeah.
Better.
So that's. Yeah, a lot, just several different things you can just kind of finagle it and get it to look the way you want it to look. Because again, these are hard coded. They're just whatever you type in there, whatever you pick, it's not going to dynamically change ever. So it will change the whole web part will get bigger and they'll kind of adjust themselves to the size of the page, but the text in here is not going to change. So I like the outline is another good one that I like for the button appearance. You have outline. So then with the outline, let's see how that's going to look when I change the background. So that looks kind of nice. It's got little white outlines around each button.
Yeah. And so Andrew asked, can I set the color to my company brand? If your theme, your theming on your site is that color, then it would pick up from that. And you can customize the theme. That's something I think we've talked about in other Power Hours, but you can customize the theme with
Yep, we teach all about that in our
tools.
SharePoint training at IW Mentor. All those different settings and different concepts about where to set the colors and how to do your own custom set of colors and things like that. All right, let's see. So that was a lot that you can do with the button. And then list is kind of, compared to the button, it's kind of boring, but it also does have that show description setting. And then show icons or not. And this is the setting that we had on, let's see, like this Contoso benefits one. So that's pretty much just the list setting. It's not showing an icon or anything, and it's pretty plain. I'll go back to where'd that page go. Okay, so then tiles is the other setting. And tiles makes them all look like little squares. Now, tiles looks kind of cool if they're all icons, but it looks awkward when some of them are images. To me, I wouldn't want to have the custom images with the tiles. It looks kind of weird because it just kind of puts it in the middle like that. Then you can also change your icon size. So it's not changing the font, it's just making the icon itself a different size. You can make when you make the icons extra large, you lose the text completely. And then look at this. So then it makes it, you have a fit space option for the icons. So then if you do have a custom image, then that looks better. That makes it fill up the whole square that it's in. But again, it really does help if they're square images. And what was that? This other option was show only icon or image. And that it changes itself to yes when you get to like the extra large and the fit space. But it's an option here when you have it on large. Let's see we have any other different. Yeah, we pretty much don't have any other major different options on each individual thing, except the ones that have descriptions where you can actually start typing your description. But the tiles is never going to show the description. It's only going to show the words. Okay, but then you don't lose your descriptions. If I go back to the button layout and I have show descriptions, turned on, I didn't lose, like the descriptions don't get deleted when you switch your quick links web part to a setting that doesn't show the description, so that's fine. All right, let's go back to, I like my fill color. Okay, any questions? I wish the tiles would allow text on the extra large, says Valerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're commenting about tiles, how it helps.
Tiles is probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
It's the one I use the least. Which is funny because it's like what promoted links was essentially, but I think
true,
I use that one less than I use any of the others.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the show descriptions off. And then let's...
Yeah, it is nice how like it keeps the memory of those descriptions, so that way you can change like your layouts and everything like that and not worry about having to retype all that stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And then another thing that you can do with this web part is say it just fits to wherever you put it on the page. So I drag this web part over here to a section just on the right, and now they just are stacked. So since there is not a specific way to define how many columns you want, what if you want to have something like 3 sets of columns with 3 just different sort of categories of links? How would you do that? Because that was something you used to be able to do with, what was that web part, the old school web part where you could type little headers?
Oh yeah, it was like on the publishing pages, right?
Yeah, it was something in the published pages. So what you can do is just add 3 separate quick links web parts. So you can go ahead and do something like add a new section and have 3 columns. And then in each column, you can put a quick links web part. And then you can do... And then you can give them each a name. You just type right on here. So you can say like benefits. I can see where you would want to, you're like trying to select the text here to replace it and it doesn't let you select it, but the cursor is actually blinking in that spot. So it's really just expecting you to just start typing right there. Policies and about us or something. And then this way, now you can start from just adding the links that would go in each of these separate sections. Now, what would be nice if you could take links, the individual links, and drag them. I'm going to move this up here. That would be nice if you could just move the links around, but I highly doubt it. You can move them from one web part to another. Yeah, no. You can rearrange them in the web part, but if you want to start over and have a new quick links web part, you are doing a lot of work and you're starting over and you're adding those links each one at a time, or by, like I showed you, where you can just select a bunch of them if they're a bunch of pages or documents.
Yeah, you can duplicate the web part. That is like one
true.
option if you had like for some reason needed the same links.
Yeah,
but you could duplicate it.
So I can go duplicate this one. That is a great point. So now I've got 2, and that's a big time saver, Joelle. Thank you. So then I could go through here and just delete the ones I didn't want. Oh, that's pretty fast. Okay. So then this could be like benefits or whatever. Great tip. Okay. Any other questions about or anything about the web part links and the web part on the page?
So Andrew says, I assume that there is a spec for the image sizes if we want the larger expanded ones. There's actually a really good Microsoft article I'll find and send to him in the chat.
Thanks. Yeah.
That has like specs for those things.
Okay. All right. The next topic, though, is we're going to move to audience targeting. So let's go ahead and each quick links web part. So I have this one called benefits. Each one has a setting when you select the whole web part itself, and you can enable audience targeting. So once audience targeting is turned on for that web part, then you can go to each individual link, and then now you'll have this new audience to target section in here. And so that way you can target each individual link to an audience of people. Now, back in the old days, you could target a whole web part to an audience. We don't, when you turn on an audience targeting, it's not targeting the whole web part to an audience. It's basically, that lets you go target each link. So don't expect it to just show or hide the whole web part for a certain audience. So, but what you're going to do is do that on each individual link. So I can go like to this one, and I'm not picking specific links that I don't have. I just made these all up. So I'm just going to say human resources members. So now this is nice because now it gives me this little icon here. So now when I'm editing the page, if I go ahead and save this page, and I'll go ahead and republish it, and if I am not in that audience, I'm not going to see that little link that I just posted. So that way, when I'm editing this, it at least gives me a visual indicator. It doesn't just completely disappear. It at least gives me a visual indicator letting me know that that is targeted to an audience. So let's go look at maybe who some of our audiences can be. I'll go to my groups of people, like accounts payable. Accounts payable is an email-enabled security group. Those are my favorite. If you have to have a favorite type of groups, I'm a nerd. Favorite type of groups in Microsoft 365. That is my favorite kind. And so if I was creating a group, that's this kind, mail-enabled security. Okay, so just so you'll know where that is.
I feel like that one has the least gotchas.
Yeah, you can just do so much with it.
It's the one that seems to work everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
For the most part.
So let me go back to my, okay, so now I'm on my HR link, and I'll see accounts. So now I've got accounts payable. And then, so anybody who's in that email-enabled security group only those people are going to be able to see that link. Now, am I in the accounts payable group? Let me see. I probably am. Yes, I am the owner of it, and Dennis is in here with me. Now, one thing that I can do is go ahead and go to this page as another user that is not in that audience and take a look at what that page is going to look like. So I'll go ahead and log in as Billy Bob. Good old Billy Bob that I use in my demos. So let me log in as Billy Bob and send Billy this URL. And log in as Billy. I think Billy's password has changed. Let me see. I hate it when it makes me change the passwords of all my little test accounts. Oh, man. Oh, I know. I'll just type the same one. There we go. I feel like I changed it, but I left it the same. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm logged in as Billy. This is Billy Bob. And look at that. So this is the benefits web part. And notice that Billy, let me expand that so I can look at it one on top of the other. See, Billy is not in these two groups. So image gallery and test template, image gallery, sorry, let me go hit edit. Image gallery and HR are the two that are targeted to an audience, and Billy is not in either of those audiences, so he simply doesn't see the links. All right. Amanda says, are there different icons for different audiences? Ooh, that is a good question. No, you are only going to see, let me expand this out a little bit. You are only going to see this little person icon if it has an audience in it. Just Boolean whether there's an audience or not. And that would be cool if it showed you different icons for different audiences. So really you just have to know the name of your audience, and then you just have to start typing it in there. So like another one that I saw when I was typing accounts payable, let's see, is Accounting department. Now, what is accounting department? What kind of group is accounting department? So let me see. Accounting department is a security group. And so if you're an admin and you're looking at the list of what the groups are in your Microsoft 365 tenant, those are different types of groups that are going to show to pick from. But also like that HR, that human resources members group. Human resources is a Microsoft 365 site in here. See, it says Microsoft 365. And human resources, since it's a Microsoft 365 group / site, it has members in it. But remember, when you create one of these groups, it has a separate list of members. So there is not a group in here called human resources members. What it's telling me when I'm in here, let me go back and start typing human resources. It's called, you can see it way down at the bottom here, it's called human resources members, but there's not a group called human resources members. This is the SharePoint / Microsoft 365 group called human resources, and it's the members of that group. So it's a little confusing because it stuck the word members onto the end of it, right? So if you're in this list of all the groups in the whole company and you're looking for something called human resources members, you're not going to see it. You're going to see human resources, and then it's the people that are the members of it, which are me and Joelle, that are going to be in that audience. So if I go find one called marketing, like I've got several different things called marketing. I've got a Microsoft 365 group called marketing. I've got marketing team. So now when I go to go down here, oh, actually, I don't think it'll let me do multiple ones, but let me try that. So I've got, marketing members and then marketing team members. So this is the group called marketing and the members of it, and then marketing team and the members of this. So that having the word members stuck on the end only when it's a Microsoft 365 group is a little confusing. But if it is just a security group or a mail-enabled security group, it's just going to be straight up just the exact name that you're going to be typing. And you don't have SharePoint groups in here. Let's see. Let's see if it lets me add a second one. It looks like it did. Yeah, so let me add 2 audiences. Oops, did it lose my changes? Let me see. Let me save this. Are there any questions that I'm missing here? Yeah, that is super confusing. Okay, yeah, that's a good sort of point about that you're asking about audiences and security. So that's a good sort of fundamental. All right, an audience has nothing to do with security. Audiences are not security. They're just who you want to see that link. So whether or not they can see a hyperlink, or if you target any of your navigation to particular audiences, has nothing to do with whether the person actually has access to that place that you're linking to. So you could have a link up here to an Office 365 group called Executives Only, but somebody could have inadvertently given the whole company access, like permissions, on the Executives Only SharePoint site. So everybody in the company technically would be able to get to it, but then if you went in here to the navigation, you are capable, or in a quick link, you're capable of setting the audience so that only executives will see the link to go to their page. So they would be the only ones seeing the link, but everyone would still be able to go to the page if they had the link, or if they were just like searching for something, they'd find it. On the other hand, you could put a link in a quick links web part or in navigation that takes everyone to, say, the HR only site. But then when anyone clicks on it, only people in HR have access to that site. So then people would get an access denied error. So sort of a best practice when you're dealing with audiences is to kind of make sure that the same people that you're showing the link are really the same people that are going to have access, because in one, you don't want to have a bunch of people clicking on a link that then are going to get an access denied error. And you don't want a bunch of people clicking on a link that are going to a site that they're not really supposed to go to. So you really should kind of make a point to make the security and the audience targeting kind of work in conjunction with each other. Have you ever seen any other kind of gotchas, or anyone else seen like kind of oopsies or things that are done wrong with audiences versus security? Are internal links security trimmed, Ricky says. Do you mean quick links? No, well, not sure what you mean by internal links.
He's just talking about they're not. I answered it.
I'm
He's
sorry.
talking about
Okay.
just, are they security trimmed?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Yes. Permission is going to be the actual permissions on the site and who are the actual members and whether it's public or private, that kind of thing. That's going to determine who can actually get to it. So audience is just visual. It's just who's going to be able to see the button. And so it gives you a good way of just sort of targeting things to, you don't want to see everybody in the company to see this long, just barrage of links, and half of it doesn't pertain to them, right? So this gives you a good way to kind of make it so that it's more tailored and customized to what really is going to be important to maybe different groups of people.
Yeah, an example would be like if you had different locations or regions in your company, and you had links that were, pertain to certain regions and not to other regions, then you would probably, put some audience targeting around those. So like if I'm in this region, I see it. If I'm in that region, I don't. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And not only can we audience target quick links, we can audience target navigation. So this is behind my head.
And pages.
So when you're editing your navigation, you can click to enable the audience targeting on the navigation. So then when I go back in, and edit the navigation again, then each individual piece of navigation is going to let me audience target it. Same exact concept, same exact audiences that I've been talking about. And then your news web part can be audience targeted, right? Let's see. Let me go ahead and add that on here. I wasn't really going to spend a lot of time talking about audience targeting in this Power Hour. We did do a whole Power Hour about audience targeting in the past, but I feel like a good bit of it has changed since then. And it wasn't the best laid out or thought through Power Hour, so I'm not necessarily going to recommend that one. So let's see. I'm going ahead and add the news here. And I think that was a couple of years ago. That was probably 2 or 3 years ago that we did that other Power Hour. Enable audience targeting. Yeah. To promote content to specific audiences across the site. And then when you enable audience targeting on a news web part, you also have to enable audience targeting in the library where the news is. And again, I'm just kind of throwing a couple of extra things out here at the end, but I wasn't really planning on going deep into this in Power Hour. Let's see. Library settings, audience targeting, enable audience targeting on the library. That is old school. That is one of those classic settings. It's been there a long time. And then once you have audience targeting on your site pages library, then you can go into the settings of each individual page. I'm not going to do the home page, but I'll say like IT. And then I'll go edit that. Properties. And then you can type an audience like that. So like, I'll just put marketing members in here. And then I didn't save it. Let me see. There we go. There wasn't a save button a second ago, so now it's saved. So now you'd be able to go through and see which audience, as you set up audiences for each page, like if you want certain, certain departments, people in certain departments to see just news that is tailored to, like you said, their region, wherever they are, things like that. Then if you take the time to do that, then when you have this news page showing on the home page, I'll just go edit this real quick. Then I'll just show a whole bunch of news here. There we go. Then when someone's looking at this page and looking at this news, they'll only see the individual news articles that are they are in an audience to see. So you could spend a good bit of time and resources and planning to do a lot of work by setting up your navigation, setting up your quick links and your news and everything, so that it's not only do you have permissions on everything, but your audience targeting, especially like maybe sort of your main home pages and main like top level departmental pages, right? Any examples, Joelle or anybody in the chat, of what sort of departments or pages that you've done this on in the past?
Yeah, I mean, my example was just pretty much locations, regions, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see. Lisa's asking about who can turn audience chart. Okay, so that is a great question about who can turn it on and off. And that leads me to a pet peeve. I'll get 3 minutes to go on my rant about the edit permission level.
Get out the soapbox. Let's go.
So by default, there's this permission level that all of your members have on every site, Microsoft 365 site, communication site, every site that you add members to, the members have this permission level called edit. And I know you all heard me rant about this before, but edit gives them the ability to edit the home page and delete entire lists and libraries and work on the settings in all of the lists and libraries. And they could potentially wreak havoc and delete things and do things that they really don't need to have access to do. So if I go look and dig into what the permission levels entail, I can look at this edit one, and I can see that edit gives them this manage list. So that's the main thing that they have in the edit permission level that gives them the ability to do all this. Create and delete list, add and remove columns, add and remove public views, edit the home page. So those are all things that all of the members of your site are going to be able to do. So one of the main things, let me just go back to site contents. One of the main things that I make it a best practice to do on every single site that I am working on is I go to the permissions of the site pages library and I stop inheriting permissions and I just go ahead and give the members, instead of edit, I change it and I give them, not even contribute, I just give them read, because I don't want them editing the home page or any of it. It's up to you which pages you want them editing, but I go ahead and just change members to read, so they're just reading the home page and all the pages, so they're not editing audiences and editing web parts and just willy-nilly doing whatever they want. All right, let me flip back. That was jam-packed. What do you think? We covered a lot. Yep. All right, were there any last questions? Let me see. Someone said go back and make the window narrow. No, they don't. The targeted links don't leave a white space. And also you'll notice that I had a couple of quick links web parts that I added on there that I didn't add any links to. And then when I published the page and was looking at it, those web parts weren't showing like, missing link or anything like that. It was just there. It's as if they weren't there at all. So it's it's not going to show, like Billy Bob doesn't see a big empty spot. It looks to Billy Bob as if those are the only two links, and they're at the top. There's not a missing space there. So let's see. All right, I think. Oh, so Pamela said that's a good idea, Pamela. So Pamela just locks only the home page down to read only so that they can still create other pages. So yeah, that's completely up to you. That is one option. If you do have members that you want to be able to create news and create other pages, and that's a great idea, Pamela. So you could just go to that individual page and change the permissions just on the home page and leave all the other ones alone. I was doing it in like one big fell swoop. Just no pages for you. So yeah, great. Okay, well, let's see. Are we here next week? Let me look at. I've got it written on the schedule. When you go to, let me share my screen again. Schedule. And yes, we do have Power Hour next week. And all of our, starting tomorrow, all of our monthly subscription prices are going up by $10. So right now it's like SharePoint Power Users only $20 a month, Power Apps, Power Automate's $40 a month, Ultimate's $50 a month. Those are all going to each go up by $10 tomorrow. So that doesn't apply to the yearly ones, but just FYI. If you want to go grab a subscription, it's going to, whatever price you buy your subscription at, it's going to be locked in. Your price isn't going to go up if you're already subscribed when the prices go up. So come on and join us. It's really fun. Thanks for coming to Power Hour, and we will see you all next week. We'll let you vote on another topic. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.